Time to talk about the newest from Hermès. This is going to be H24 Herbes Vives, or Bright Herbs. If you like green aromatic scents, you are in for a treat. Stick around, let's dive into this one. Welcome back to another video. MaxChat here. Today we're going to talk about the newest from H24, but you know, if you do love to make a great and lasting impression, smelling good is a great way to do that. So if you do appreciate the channel, leave me one of these as we dive into the newest from the house of Hermès. This is Herbes Vives. This is going to be Bright Herbs. Here's the bottle, very similar to all of the other bottles. Here's the box. It's got the dark green with the lime green appointments. Looks pretty cool, very classy, as with all Hermès fragrances, or line for that matter. This is going to be the 100 ml that we're going to talk about here in this video. And the fragrance will be available at the Hermès website, where I purchased mine, available in two sizes, the 1.7 50 ml, which will retail for 125 USD, or the 100 ml that you see here, which retailed for 155 USD. I was not a fan of the H24 line until this one here, which is the Eau de Parfum released a couple years ago. The original one, the EDT, to me was a little bit too floral and a little bit too powdery. I was not a fan. I don't have a bottle anymore. The Eau de Parfum is one that I constantly talk to you guys about because it was mossier, greener. I really appreciate this one. Wow. In fact, it makes a lot of my spring, summer rotation. I do like the aromatic, you know, almost fougere-like tendencies that are added here, the earthiness, the green qualities, the aromatic, almost fougere tendencies that this fragrance has, which was not present in the original, hence the fact that I don't even have a bottle anymore. So this was something that I really enjoyed. When I heard about this one here, Herbes Vives, I got quite interested because I do like the herbal fragrances. Green is very in right now, so I thought, wow, this perhaps could be really cool. I talked about having this minty, cool effect with 𝗏𝗏, which is like a synthetic molecule that they added here, which I'll talk about in a second. Also talked about a gorgeous pear note, so I was quite intrigued. Picked up a bottle, been wearing this for a little bit. Let's do a quick spray here to remind me of the introduction so I can share it with you guys again. It is my scent of the day. So this fragrance is going to be very, very bright. When you spray this on, now what you're going to get on the blotter is going to be very different than what you're going to get on skin, because it's really going to develop and change on skin. But on the blotter here, it's going to be very green, very aromatic, extremely minty. It could be mintier, but it's going to have a very green component to it. It's going to be green, it's going to be fruity. I wish the pear note was more emphasized in this fragrance. That's one of my qualms. One of the things that I did not enjoy. I thought that the pear was going to be more prominent, more fruity. Not the case here. It is predominantly a green scent with a very vegetal / herbal kind of a, aura to it from beginning to end. However, on skin, that will change. Now, this opening that I'm talking about, very bright, a little bit fruity, and definitely floral / vegetal and herbaceous, will be on your skin for about 10-15 minutes. That development, though, will make a turn for the time of the fragrance that I really didn't appreciate. When it got to about 15-20 minutes, the fragrance got very, or I shouldn't say very, but it got quite bitter on my skin. That bitterness is something that I didn't quite appreciate. I wish that wasn't the case. I wish the pear was more prominent. I wish the minty note remained. However, this bitterness, vegetal, very green and herbal nuance was overtaking the fragrance after 15-20 minutes, and it stayed for about 30 to 35 minutes, which again almost got to the point that I asked myself, wow, I'm not going to be enjoying this fragrance. It's not going to be one that I'm going to be praising or saying how good this fragrance is. To my luck, that bitterness started to take a back seat, and then I started to get some of these mineral, aquatic, and very familiar kind of a nuance, almost like a cologne, or these elements that you find in 𝗥𝗿𝗄, for example, or the one from Versace Men Eau Fraîche, those very aquatic, fruity tendency kind of fragrances that are blue, very aromatic, but also very fruity, citrus, and very inviting. So after 35 to 40 minutes, those elements came through. Of course, you still had the bitterness, the herbal, the vegetal qualities, but they started to go to the back. This more aquatic, bright fruitiness came through, making the fragrance quite enjoyable, but it reminded me of other things that I will talk more about it as I tell you guys what this reminds me of. So to me, this was a very complex fragrance that started a certain way, developed, to something else, and at the end became something completely different of how it started and how it began with, which was quite interesting to say the least. The fact that the fragrance only talks about 3 ingredients or 3 notes, you know, the green notes, green herbal notes, that could be a lot of things. It could be a lot of different herbal notes. You know, I do get a basil situation here. I do get a little bit of a rosemary and maybe thyme. There are definitely a melange or different kind of herbal notes that will definitely lend a very green aromatic feel to the fragrance. I don't think this one has lavender per se or moss or some of the other elements or clary sage that the other fragrances had, but it definitely had a very vegetal, very herbal green opening to this fragrance that remained throughout the whole life of the fragrance. On skin though, that changed after the 35 to 40 minute mark, which was quite interesting. That 𝗕𝗘𝗙 that they talk about is supposed to land a very refreshing, minty feel to the fragrance that's supposed to be long lasting. And yes, long lasting this was. We're talking about performance in just a minute, but this was very long lasting. That cooling effect was long lasting. I didn't get the minty feel that I was hoping for, but the fragrance was actually pretty cool on skin, or refreshing, if you will, lending that really nice feeling wearing this fragrance, something that I really am looking forward to wearing in the upcoming months. We'll leave it at that for now. Now, the pear note that I talked about was something that I was eagerly waiting for, as it's kind of hard to find fragrances that do have a very prominent fruity, juicy pear note. When I do find those fragrances, I tend to enjoy them. One of them being 𝗙𝗲𝗏 𝗚 from Jean-Paul Gaultier has a very juicy pear there. There are other ones that, of course, I don't come to mind now, but I do know that I enjoy the juicy fruit, pear note in my fragrances. Not the case here. The fruity pear was not really predominantly, apparent as I would like it to be. There is a fruitiness here, and that fruitiness comes through after the 35-40 minute. As the fragrance gets to the dry down, it does give me a feel of a couple things that I know. One of them being Versace Manel Fresh, the other one being 𝗥𝗿𝗄. But the 𝗥𝗿𝗄 that this reminds me of is Profondo. So this to me, this particular fragrance, Hermès H24 Herbes Vives, dries down as a 𝗥𝗿𝗄 Profondo green. Like if that fragrance had a green flanker, this is what that fragrance would smell like in the dry down, because you're gonna have the 𝗥𝗿𝗄 vibe, the cologne, all those synthetic molecules that fragrance has, with the green nuances that I'm talking about, the 𝗕𝗘𝗙, and it's very reminiscent of Profondo. That's what I get at the bottom line, at the base, as the fragrance dried down after 35-40 minutes, and that's what I got for the remaining hours of this fragrance on my skin. So let's talk about performance. The sillage was very good. The 𝗕𝗘𝗙 makes the fragrance really projects 2+ hours, and it gives you a great sillage, a great scent bubble, and it performs 8+ hours. Another one that's giving me above average performance, which I am much in love with. So love the scent, well, I shouldn't say love the scent, I really enjoyed the scent. Didn't really love the mid part, the bitterness that I got, but the introduction was quite good, and the dry down was quite amazing. It might be redundant to you if you own Profondo or those kind of fragrances. However, this doesn't smell exactly like Profondo 𝗥𝗿𝗄. It has the green herbal nuances that we're talking about here, the 𝗕𝗘𝗙, a little bit of that pear note. So it is different enough that renders you to at least try the fragrance. In comparison to all of the H24s, the 𝗲𝗏𝗏 still my favorite. This is my second favorite. Could grow on me. I don't think it's going to dethrone this one, because the Parfum is still the greener, the more fougere-like. But this one here could grow on me, and I think it's preferable to wear this fragrance in the spring and early fall. Summertime, perhaps, depends. If you go easy on the sprayers, like I said, a bitter note could get a little cloying in the heat of the sun. But I think springtime is perfection for this fragrance. The intro is fire, and the development is okay. The dry down is very nice, but it is one of those dry downs that could be very similar to a lot of things. So you might be turned off by it, might be redundant to a lot of people if you own a lot of fragrances, but it's definitely worth checking out. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts and review on the new H24 Hermès Herbes Vives. Have you tried this one? It is available here in the US. Go to your store, check it out. If you want to get yourself a sample to try it on skin, live with the scent, of course, you can check it out, perfume.com. Get yourself a sample, live with it, love it. Once you're ready to go and get a bottle, you can go to Hermès or your favorite discount stores, whatever you may find this fragrance. Of course, I'm going to have everything listed for you below where I got it. If there's codes, savings, keeping you guys in the know. That's what we do here. If you do appreciate the channel, show your love, show your support. And of course, I will see you guys right back here with another video very soon. Smells good. See you soon. Bye-bye.